All right, welcome everyone. It is October 17th, I believe, and we are live from Montana. This is Hillary and myself again.
Hello.
We just did our video this week on Bigfork, and so we're going to chat a little bit more about Bigfork. And as usual, if you guys have questions, go ahead and put them up. We're going to discuss a few things beforehand, but we will get to all the questions. So Bigfork, as I said in the video, my wife Angie actually grew up there and went to high school, graduated there. So I've been there quite a bit. Hillary's also been there with her paddle boarding or kayaking, whatever it may be, hiking.
Yeah, all of the above.
So, um, yeah, Bigfork is kind of a compared to whitefish. It's not as crazy, I would say. I mean, in the summer, from Bigfork's a very specific season. It's basically from the end of May until the beginning of September, and then it clears out because they don't have they don't have a ski resort there. It's definitely a mountain town or a lake town. The 4th of July parade is huge, so that whole weekend in Bigfork is nuts. Um, and yeah, it is a fun place. Um, a lot of interest in it. So yeah, it's quite a little town, that's for sure.
It is. I love Bigfork. It is definitely more seasonal than Whitefish is, like you mentioned, because we've got the mountains. So we'll have some periods of time where it's not as busy, but the show goes on. Whereas in Bigfork, it definitely quiets down quite a bit in the winter. Um, but yeah, summers in Bigfork are great. Flathead Lake is beautiful, obviously, and there is great hiking over there also. Um,
Yeah, the Jewel Basin.
yeah, it's beautiful. It's easy to get to Whitefish from there, so it's nice to be able to drive down there in the summer. They have a whitewater festival in the summers also, so we've gone to that a couple times, and I think you just sign up, and then you like whitewater raft or canoe. I think they do all different things, but all the bars are open with outdoor areas and it's super busy down there. So there's a lot of fun stuff to do in the summer and it gets pretty hopping.
Well, it's kayaking, so you have a kayak, so I expect you to join next year so we can do it live so all these people can watch you compete in the kayaking event.
Well, I remember like realizing that you could just sign up. And so I kind of joked, like, well, would it be kind of fun? And then you see people actually doing it. And it's like, oh, God, no.
Yeah, those
Not
guys are pretty.
people.
That's pretty. I mean, it's known as the Wild Mile because of it. I don't know do you know what class those rapids are, but they're pretty big. They're
I
bigger
don't
than I
know.
would want
Yeah.
to do.
I couldn't handle it.
Yeah, so those guys they're not amateurs like myself. They know what they're doing, and uh, it's not something you just go throw your boat in and try it out unless you want to get hurt or drown.
That is correct. It is really nice to kayak in Flathead Lake, though. There are a ton of people out there that have boats, but it is just so large that, um, it never feels busy, and that doesn't really matter. Another thing that I love about Big Fork is they have really good restaurants down there. So we will drive down there for um, like dinners just to do something different. They've got good sushi, good taco place. So yeah, that's fun to mix it up a little bit.
There you go. So it looks like we're already getting a bunch of questions. But before we get to those, one other thing that I wanted to talk about was, the market in the valley seems to be slowing down a little bit. And we were all together meeting with some people this morning, and Angie was talking about, it seems as though a lot of the agents are just kind of letting people, dictate the price and they're not giving them good advice or whatever. And so the prices are people are asking way too much for some of these places, and we're starting to see pushback now where we weren't a couple months ago, but it seems to be slowing things down a little bit. But it's still, we had a client that put in an offer a couple weeks ago on a place, and there were, what did I say, 7 offers on it.
Yep.
So there's still competition for houses, but I guess maybe there's a little light at the end of the tunnel here as far as more inventory and a little bit of pushback, so the prices aren't continuing to skyrocket at the moment.
I was going to say it's just nice to see pushback, because for so long you would see something come up and look at the price and go, there's no way. And then sure enough, there would be 10 offers for over that. And so I think that sellers are still thinking that, that's how it is. And so, yeah, we are starting to see a little bit of resistance. So that is good.
Yeah. So let's go to some of the questions. Hello from Chicago. Hillary used to live in Chicago. Isn't that correct?
I did.
Tell me that. That's what I was going to ask you about. Now that we're just chatting, tell the fans out here about your Wrigley Field deal when they won the World Series.
Oh, well, Will was telling us that he went to Wrigley Field for the first time not that long ago. And so I just told him a fun fact that when they just won the World Series, I rode my bike down there and signed my name on the stadium. But a ton of people were doing it. I wasn't like vandalizing, but my name's on there somewhere.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know they actually did that. So, all right, let's hit some of these questions. He's seeing many investors buying up homes. I saw a recent article says FC 104. I haven't in our area. No, sure. There's always a couple investors here and there that are looking to flip or buy rentals, but I haven't seen the big companies like that. I read the article that you're talking about. I'm pretty sure I read that same article. If not, it was one similar, but I think in the bigger cities, the big companies are buying up homes, but I haven't noticed a lot right in our area. So, how much for a ranch, a small one? That's sorry, there's no way to answer that. There's about 10,000 variables, and so I'm not even going to throw a number out because it would probably be crazy. We moved to Western Montana a month and a half ago. Love it. Well, welcome here.
Best.
Somebody likes your sweater, Hillary.
Thank you, Tiffany.
She's wearing it. It's purple. She was wearing it for the Vikings today. I'm very curious about snakes, specifically poisonous snakes.
I don't think there are any snakes.
Well, there's snakes, but I saw one on the trail on the bike path the other day. It was just like a garter snake, whatever. It wasn't poisonous.
Yeah, I don't think we have any poisonous snakes. I have seen little teeny ones in Glacier that I've like stepped on, but they look like worms, like they're little.
Yeah, there's rattlesnakes over on the east of here. So those are, I guess, poisonous, but we don't have any rattlers up here. We're up in the northwest corner. I think it's too cold for them. I am a Canadian who would like to work in Montana. Any tips? I work with children. I guess my tip would be to do your homework, call the embassies, call the government offices. We have some friends that they were down here and they got a green card or a visa or a work thing because her parents were building something down here and they were down here for 2 years and then they wouldn't renew it. And this was a long time ago. So I'm sure things have changed since then, but sorry that I don't know how you go about that legally and in order to guarantee that you can stay for, however long you want to stay. Couple of hellos.
Hello.
Not from Montana.
Oh, are there any country and folk musical festivals here.
Well, there you go, Hillary. You can chime in on that one.
There sure are. We actually have Under the Big Sky, which I don't know if you have heard of. Probably not if you're asking that question, but it is relatively new. It started 2 years ago, was the first run, and they had who was the headliner?
This year?
No,
This
the
year,
first year they had like Band of Horses and
I don't remember the first
Nathaniel
year.
Radcliffe and the Night Sweats, and then the next year was COVID, so it got canceled, and then this year it was back up and running again. But yeah, it's a lot of country folk music, and people seem to really love it.
Yeah, there was way too many people in town for that.
Yeah, they oversold
Dwight
tickets this year.
Dwight Yoakam was the headliner this year. Dwight Yoakam, and then
Tyler Childers, people really like. Orville
who's
Peck.
the older country lady that everybody's heard of? She was here this year.
I don't know.
Oh, anyway.
But there's that. That's right in Whitefish, so that's fun. And then other than that, not a lot of festivals, but we do have, a lot of the bars and that kind of thing. We'll have a lot of live music come through. So you definitely have options around here.
Actually, there's that other country one called the Red Ants Pants Festival, and it's in it's a weird town out in the middle of nowhere, White Sulphur Springs. So another one, if you want to go out to a country festival in the middle of nowhere, that's your show.
There you go.
Addicted to Montana after watching Yellowstone. There we go. Yeah, that is filmed about 3 hours south of here in the Bitterroot Valley, and it's kind of funny because that valley, in the show is supposedly borders Yellowstone, but in reality, it's about 6 hours away. So it's a long way from Yellowstone Park, but the Bitterroot Valley is beautiful as you see on the show. So they're getting a lot of people wanting to move there because of that show. So that's also driving the people to Montana. All right. So it's trendy areas that are increasing the value of property. Yes and no. I mean, for sure, we're getting the resort areas, Bozeman and Whitefish, and they're definitely pushing prices up. But even the smaller towns that aren't trendy are getting interest too. People are just wanting to get out of the city and get to a rural state, and this is definitely one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So some more snake discussion.
Snakes.
Yeah.
Tucson, Tampa.
Let's see. What's this one? We have the Big Valley Jamboree. Oh, Big Valley Jamboree in Alberta. I have not heard of that. So thank you very much, Sue. Sue gave us a
Oh my gosh.
super chat.
Thank you.
Johnny
asked, do all the towns go all out for Christmas? And this is a fun one. Whitefish, I think, definitely does. They have decorations that hang from all the lights in downtown, so it's very just picturesque and festive and cute. And then we have a winter carnival every year that goes on for how long does it last? A week or 2 weeks? Or is it like a month?
They have, I think it's 1 week, but it always seems like there's a couple of those events that are like 10 days or 2 weeks before.
So they have events and fun stuff going on for that. And then we have a Christmas stroll where all of the stores on Central Avenue are open, and they've just got, hot chocolate and vendors out in the street and stuff. It's fun.
Little fires. That's actually cool. That's my favorite thing is that stroll.
Yeah, it's super fun. And then Bigfork, I don't know if they do anything like Whitefish does, but it looks beautiful down there every time I've been there in the winter. I mean, just all the lights, and they've got, yeah, I mean, so it feels very festive when you're there. But I know that Whitefish specifically definitely has like activities for Christmas.
Yeah, the Big Fork one is more, the day that they decorate it, they call themselves the elves, and it's all the business owners, and they run garland and put trees up on the street and yeah, lights everywhere. And yeah, Big Fork's really cool at Christmas, but I don't know if they have like a stroll like Whitefish does.
Yeah, I don't think they do. They're just good at decorating. I know the businesses all do. They have like a competition every year with who does the best like window display. So yeah.
Yeah. So all right. Love the channel. 16 acres in Ronan, free and clear. Currently living was the next step in moving on to building. Well, it depends what you want to build. It depends on the zoning of your land and if you're going to have to get permits and all of that. So I guess I would call, depending on where, if it's Ronan that you have to deal with or Lake County, that's what I would check into. And then, like I said, it depends on what exactly you're building and if you're drilling a well and all of that stuff. So if you need more info on that, you can call us. Our info's down in the show notes again for anybody that wants to get a hold of us, and I'll put it up later. But you can call or email anytime. And this is probably a good time to also say that what we say in all of these lives, if anybody wants access to our MLS site so you can see everything that's available, you can see everything that we see, email us and we will send you the link, and then that allows you to search the MLS just like we can. And it's better than Zillow and it's better than realtor.com and all the national ones because it's updated in real time. So
all of those sites are getting their information from the MLS. So
yeah,
the MLS just has more information and it's updated right away. So it's definitely the way to go.
So let's see. If anyone knows someone selling property in excess of 6,000 acres with a river, would be happy to pay. Okay, Ken, we will take a look. I don't know any off the top of my head, but maybe send us an email and you can check out our MLS. It covers all of Western Montana. So that'll allow you to keep an eye on that as well. So any wolf sightings? Weren't you just talking about this?
Yeah, I've never seen one, and I wish. I've heard that they have been howling like crazy, though, around Whitefish Lake. A few people that have houses over there have said that it's been nuts, but no, I've never seen one, but they're here.
Yep, I have not either, but you hear about them, but yeah, I haven't seen any. We have every other animal in town, but not wolves that I know of.
Yeah.
Let's see. We were heading Whitefish second week of November. How far outside of Whitefish is still viable to live yet commute? I guess that kind of depends on how much you like to drive. There's people that live up towards Eureka that come into Whitefish every day, and Eureka's 45 minutes away. A lot of people live in Kalispell and come up here. Kalispell is 15 miles south of Whitefish. A lot of people in Columbia Falls, which is 7 miles east of Whitefish. So kind of depends on, how much driving you're willing to do or you don't mind. And so, yeah. Let's see. It's a good place to attend a rodeo.
Blue Moon. That's the only one I've been to.
Well, in our valley, yeah, the Blue Moons are pretty popular. They have one every week during the summer, fall. I think they just quit doing them for the year.
Yeah.
But Here's a little fun fact, and I hope this is right, but I seem to have read somewhere that I think it's Montana and Texas are the only two states in America that have like a rodeo circuit that's just in the state. So people can be in a rodeo every weekend all summer somewhere in Montana.
Cool.
That's what
Yeah,
I've
I
been
know there
told.
are a ton of them. That's just the one that's close to us, so that's what I know about. But yeah.
Yeah, so so good rodeo stories. So I went to my first rodeo when we first moved here, and this is kind of the joke with maybe I shouldn't be telling this, but they had this thing called uh cowboy poker. Have you heard of that?
Mm-mm.
And these guys told me, "Oh, Will, you got to do that. You got to play cowboy I think it's poker. I don't know." But what it is, I was like, "Sure, I'll do that." I was trying to, have fun and
Fit in.
look, come to find out what it is they set up a card table out in the arena with, where the animals come out, and four guys sit down at the table and they let a bull out, and the last one that stays sitting there who's not, scared runs, wins the pot. So
What?
yeah, it's crazy. I chose to not do that, but
Oh, that
maybe
is
you could have
funny.
Keenan do that next summer. We
Yeah,
could film it. We can go live on that one too.
I wanna do it.
All right.
Yes.
Um, can't wait for my wife and I to move to Montana. We've had it with Oregon. You're not the first one to say that. Haven't heard a lot of great stories out of Oregon lately. Okay, Gary says he has two questions. What is the growth potential of Thompson Falls? We just showed a property down there a couple weeks ago. Um, Again, like I was saying earlier, a lot of these smaller towns that weren't getting the growth are starting to.
Mhm.
One of the gals that we work with just is building a house
Building
over
a
there
house.
now. So, yeah, I think it'll grow just like everywhere. There's plenty of room out there. There's a lot of land there. It is kind of a narrow valley over there though, so there's not, the Flathead Valley is big and wide open and it's a huge valley, whereas that valley where Thompson Falls is it's kind of the river goes through the middle, but the mountains come down. In fact, the property that we showed was
On
100
top of the
acres, and it
mountain.
was 95 of it or 99 of it was on the side of the mountain, and there was about 1 acre that was buildable. So it was a pretty good drive for not getting anything. Um, let's see. Let's put up Gary's second question. Would it be easier to get a builder to build in Thompson Falls than elsewhere? I don't know if I can answer that. I would call the local builders around there, see how they're backed up. I would assume, like anywhere, because we've had such an influx of people, um, a lot of the good builders are very busy. And I'm not saying that if you find a builder, he's not good, but I know the guys around here that are good builders are backed up for a while. Um, because we're so far from Thompson Falls, I don't know any builders that are based out of there, but
Yeah, nor do I.
I guess hopefully that helps. All right, let's go back to where are the towns in Montana that need workers the most? Everywhere.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't, nowadays, it's rare to see a business that doesn't have a help wanted sign out front. So I'm not sure what kind of work you're looking for, but there's plenty of people looking for help right now. So,
Um, I don't know where you are, but if you jump back up to right below Gary's question, EQ asked, he said, we plan up more. He has two questions too,
oh,
apparently. Yeah. Address inventory now versus expected in the spring.
you know what? I wish I could answer that. Right now, it's still pretty low. Um, the funny part, and we all say this as locals here, that it will depend on the winter. If we have a bad winter, I'm sure there'll be more houses on the market in the spring. There's a lot of people that move up here and they go through one winter and they tap out and put their house on the market and move back south somewhere. Um, there's just such a demand, but normally in the spring, we do get more houses, even this past spring. That's our big selling season. So, um, kind of the beginning, middle of April, it starts until the middle of May is our big influx of homes that come on the market. Um, but yeah, right now the inventory is still pretty low. We were just doing a search for a guy the other day, and there's just not a lot. And it depends on the price range. So let's see. It's difficult to get the mineral rights when you buy a property in Montana. That is a very good question. A lot of what we run into a lot when we sell places here, you'll get the report from the title company and it will show, the mineral rights. And what happened in Montana is back in the 1800s, there were big companies that were scooping up all the mineral rights around here. And because they've gone out of business 100 years ago or whenever it was, those records stay attached to the property. So every time you buy a house, that pops up on the title report, and a lot of people get nervous and freaked out, like, oh my God, this oil company is going to start drilling in my backyard. Well, like I said, these companies have disappeared long ago, but because they're recorded with the property and because that company's not around anymore, there's nobody that can legally remove it. So to answer your question, I don't know what you'd have to do to, because that company that no longer exists technically owns the mineral right. Yeah, I don't know in that situation. If there's a place that doesn't have any yet, sure. I believe you just go down and file for those rights when you buy that land. So I haven't had to deal with that much. So I'm sorry I couldn't get more in depth, but hopefully that helps a little. Let's see. Do you have any specific physician recruiters that specialize? It's funny. The guy we were talking to this morning was discussing just that. I don't. I know that if you get a hold of the hospital, there's a lot of teams of doctors that I'm sure recruit occasionally, but I don't know of anybody specifically. I would call the hospital. Let's see. What's the regulations for fishing? There is a quota, and it depends on the lake, and it depends if you're in the park, and it depends on what kind of fish. You just have to look at the fishing regulations. When you buy a license, they give you a little booklet with all those rules. I don't know them all because there's many different fish and many different limits for the different fish. Hillary, would you like to chime in on that? You're a big fisherman.
I'm not. So no, I would not like to.
Oh, this is our answer. Currently driving 2 hours to get 36 miles. Well, you can get 36 miles a lot quicker than that here. Winter conditions, if you live out, it kind of depends on how far out and where. If you're right along one of the main highways, they keep the highways pretty clear here. Yes, there are storms that come through sometimes where even the big highways are a mess, but for the most part, they're in decent shape. But if you live way up a road that you have to plow yourself or something like that, obviously that's going to be a factor. So that's all things to take into consideration. Any barn dominium builders in the area? That's a good question. I have not seen any specific advertisement for that. I'm sure a good builder could look at the plans and do that for you, but that's really not a big thing here yet. Have you heard of that at all, Hillary?
I've heard of it, but I haven't heard of. I don't know any specific builders here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how's the weather?
Well, it's been beautiful this weekend. Right
Yeah.
now it's like well, not quite 70. It was cold this morning, but it's been super nice, so that's a treat, but it gets cold.
Let's see, Dwayne. Dwayne, you win the prize for the most questions. What are some good tourist attractions in Montana near the Saskatchewan side of the state? That's the east side of Montana, and there's not a lot happening over there. There's a dinosaur museum in Malta. I know of that.
Hmm.
Yeah, sorry, Dwayne, not a lot going on the east side that I know of. There's some state parks over there. There's that Fort Peck Reservoir, but as far as like tourist attractions, I don't think there's much. So, there any drought issues out there? There can be. I think we're good now here. Um, it gets dry in the summer times, and then we'll get some fires. But um, it seems as though we had plenty of snow last winter, and um, yeah, so I don't think we're in a drought as of now. As far as eastern Montana, where the farmers are, uh, I haven't heard that they're having a problem, but I'm not positive on that.
Um, Jeff Temple said that they're looking at winter rentals in Kalispell and asked if we run studded tires through the winter. And yes, to studded tires.
For sure. Because we get pretty warm weather here in the winter, compared to, North Dakota, Minnesota, that side of the world. Um, so it'll get up into the mid 30s during the day. And so the streets will be all wet and snow will be melting. And then, of course, at night it cools way down. And then, um, it freezes. So we get what's called black ice. And so that's why they allow studs here. I don't think a ton of states allow studs, but here it's kind of necessary with the whole black ice thing. So I would strongly suggest getting them. Not everybody has them, but
Yeah, I've
we've had
actually
them.
never gotten them on and I don't know why, because it was an option, but for whatever reason I didn't end up with them. But that was something that I learned right when I moved here was you get the studded tires put on, and then if you don't have them switched off and your summer tires back on by I don't know what the exact date
I
is,
think it's
but
May 1st. You got to
you
have
get
them
a
off.
ticket. Yeah.
I think October 1st. It's October 1st to May 1st. You can have them. So is the Wilderness Club going to make it? That's funny you bring that up. I was just talking to a guy the other day about that. They've had their issues, but they're selling a lot of houses up there now. They're building a lot of new places along number 18 there. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but they're building a whole bunch of cabins right there. They're building houses on the lots that are around there. So the problem with Eureka has always been, and the problem with the Wilderness Club is it's a great golf course, but there's just not a lot going on in Eureka. If you want to go to a nice restaurant or do something after you golf, you have to drive all the way down to Whitefish, which again is 45 minutes. And to do that at night back and forth isn't a lot of fun. There's a lot of deer on that road at night. So it can be a eventful trip. But that's always been the issue with Eureka or with those golf courses there. The other one, Indian Springs, is a great course. I love that course. And they've been doing pretty well, it seems like. And now that the Canadian border is opened back up, that's definitely going to help. So I think at this point, Brad, yes, I think it'll make it. It's looking that way, but who knows? Let's see.
Johnny asked an interesting question. He said, if you had to pick a drawback to living here, what would it be?
You can go first.
Well, I don't know. I have to think about it. The thing that okay, this is probably a stupid answer, but the thing that bothers me on a like regular basis, that's the only thing I can think of because I really love it here. Um, but like just the food situation, I think after being in Chicago, I was used to having, I mean, there were just like a million places for cheap lunch and there were restaurants open all the time. And I mean, obviously, small town, it's going to be different, but we just don't have that many food choices.
I will give you that as well. There's no Canes here.
All right, I don't care about that.
No Canes, no In-N-Out Burger. There's, none of those good places that, um,
There's just
yeah,
not anywhere to eat lunch.
yeah, well, yeah, Whitefish, we both live in Whitefish and, there's only so many restaurants here and everybody's been to all of them about 50 times. So you kind of know the menu everywhere. And I guess that's one of the downfalls of a small town, but,
Yeah, but
um, yeah, sorry, Johnny, you're probably thinking, God, look at these people. That's the worst they have it.
yeah,
Um,
that's true.
no, I don't, I mean, I guess it kind of goes along with that is that Montana is very rural and, we don't have any big cities that are real close. I mean, Calgary is 4 hours away. We like to go up there when we could. I mean, now we can again, but, and then Spokane's kind of big. But other than that, there's it's 10 hours to Seattle. Um, you got to kind of jump on an airplane to get to a big city if you're into that. So the shopping and restaurants, like Hillary said, and all of that, we just don't have. Um, we're all about the outdoor activities, and being rural, that's the draw here. But sometimes you want some of the perks of a big city, and they're not real close. So let's see. Do you know if there are any land plots available east of Essex along Highway 2, south of Glacier? I believe there are. Why don't you email us? We can send you that link, and I'll send you, if you're looking for land over there, what we can do is we can set you up on an automatic email, and it will alert you anytime what you're looking for pops up. So our info is down in the show notes and I'll put it up at the end here. But yeah, email us and we'd be happy to help. Here you go, Hillary.
There is one in Kalispell, and the line is always so long.
I know
Every
you
time I
think it's
drive
the
by,
only Chick-fil-A on the planet. It's always busy.
any time of day, any day of the week, and it's quite busy. But yes, we do have one of those in Kalispell.
Oh yeah, Frontier Bar. Yep, you're right, Andrew. That is a great place. Sorry, I did not mention that earlier. But that's always the complaint I get when I hear people talking about the Wilderness Club is there's just not a lot of places in Eureka. So that's what I was talking about. Let's see. Here you go. These are the preppers. The people, there's a lot of people that are kind of into that sort of thing, and they live up in the Yak. The Yak is the far northwest corner of Montana. It's very rural. So I know there's a lot of people up there. Other than that, you don't see a lot in our area.
Dwayne asked if we have to stock up on groceries and how the grocery stores are in a small town. No, it's just like going to the grocery store anywhere else I've lived. We've got a big, nice Safeway that they just redid. Actually, there's a super one. I guess people who live outside of town would probably have to do a little bit more preparation and stocking up, but for the most part, our
We were
grocery.
talking about that this morning, though, with those people when we had that music festival.
Yeah, so when Under the Big Sky was happening this year, they were just they oversold it. So there were like 1 million people in Whitefish, which they all fit at the where the festival was being held, but our little town just was not prepared. And so you would go to the grocery store and like the shelves were completely empty. So yeah, as long as there's not a major music festival, we're good.
Yeah, yeah, nobody was prepared for that influx of people. So Jeff says, does Glacier International Airport have good connections? Is travel in and out of the valley manageable? Yes. In the past year or two, my wife Angie was actually on the airport board. But ever since COVID, as you guys know, everybody on the planet has, wanted to come up here to vacation or get away or so they added, I mean, there were I believe 5 flights per week nonstop from here to LA. And then there was 1 or 2 to Chicago, or was that every day? I forget.
I
Um,
remember.
there's a daily flight to Minneapolis. Obviously, there's daily flights to Seattle and Salt Lake all year long. The Minneapolis one is year round, nonstop. There's a couple flights a week to Vegas on Allegiant. And Allegiant goes to California too, different place. I think San Francisco. And I did a video a while back, if you want to check back on our channel on the airport, and I kind of listed I showed the little charts that show all the flights. But yes, the answer to that question is yes, it's very easy to get in and out of here now. And the cool thing about our airport in this valley is that it's right in the middle. So, my wife just flew down to visit our daughter and flew back last night. And, it takes 15 minutes to get to the airport from here. So, very, very easy. See,
Very
Ryan
easy.
keeps asking this. Oh, that's not that it. Cell service around Bridger. Sorry, Ryan. I don't know. I guess I would check with Verizon, but I don't know the answer to that. Let's see.
I've got a restaurant rec that I got to go to Great Falls for.
This one?
Yeah.
The Red Lion. All
I've
right.
not been there, but there we go.
There you go.
Thank you.
Have fun in Great Falls. Oh, look, it's Maria Miller. Is that the Maria Miller that I know? Maria Miller is soon to be a resident here in Montana. And they got a great little log cabin on 7 acres with spectacular views. Beautiful spot, and we're excited to have them up here. Let's see. Yep. Hey, Maria. Sounds like Earl is already on his way. Brad, would you recommend Trigo or Kyla for investment property? What are you looking to do? Are you looking for rentals? Are you looking for commercial? Yeah, I'll need more information before I give you an answer there. Let's see. All right, we can go political for a minute. How are the public schools handling the kids' masks and vax? I don't think any of the schools are mandatory. Well, I mean, I'll take that back. I think some of the schools are mandatory masks. Do you know, Hillary?
I thought they were, and that's why people were protesting.
I think they weren't, and then it got bad, and they were, and now I don't know.
I'm not sure what the current status is either. I don't have kids in school, but I know that they have been in the past. I think at one point, maybe they were doing certain days. I'm not sure though, what the current status is.
Oh, yeah. And I don't mean to, it just, I mean, I'm sure you guys all know that any, whatever you say on that, it's going to annoy somebody. So I try and stay out of it. And again, I'm kind of the Montana, do your own thing and leave me alone and I'll leave you alone. That's our motto here. Let's see. Oh, it keeps skipping when I click on it. I am separated to the Farley family in Montana. Dad is from fond memories. All right. I do not know them,
Very
but they
cool.
sound nice. There you go, Maria. Somebody's looking for what you're looking for. So if you want to sell, I know you've owned it for like a month now. So if you're looking to sell, let me know. Let's see. Thanks, Julie. Well, thank you, Johnny. Hopefully you can get out here soon. It's looking like we got to the bottom. Do you have anything you'd like to add, Hillary?
I don't think so.
Oh,
we got another question. Let's answer it. This is funny that this came up, actually. You two clearly have decent internet in Whitefish. Is the rest of the valley dependable? Is there some sort of tower service for more rural areas? We do have really good internet in Whitefish, but it's just funny that you brought this up because everyone here's on Spectrum, it seems like, but they're down in my neighborhood, and so I texted Will.
Hillary was trying to get out of doing this. Hillary called me at like 20 to 5 telling me she was not going to be on this live, and I think she was excited about that. So I told her that she'd be letting all of you people down, and we figured it out. So that's why she's here.
So I'm using a hotspot right now from my phone. I actually don't have good internet at the moment, but usually we do. The rural areas get spottier.
Yeah. Yes, like we said earlier, let me put this up right now. Where is it? Banners. Here is our contact info. If anybody wants a link to the MLS, just email us at that address. Or if you have any questions or you want to chat, we're happy to talk to you anytime. Yeah, we're happy to help or send you that link. And then I want to put this up. Thank you, Maria. There you go. Maria and her husband are awesome. Their house is awesome. I'm jealous of where they live, and I'm going to be probably down there more than they want to see me. So let's see. Where's the next town tour going to be? Can you go east towards Red Lodge? Carl, I don't want to give it away. I want to keep everyone on the edge of their seat. Yeah. So I think I'm going to have Hillary start doing the eastern side of Montana. So let's see. Here's one more question. How often do you get a seller willing to sell a home with furniture in it, if ever? You know, actually in Whitefish, that happens quite a bit.
I was going to say, I've never seen that happen anywhere else, or at least not enough to notice. And that is definitely a thing here. You can buy it furnished. It seems like that happens quite a bit.
Well, I think it's because a lot of people buy these for investment properties to rent out. And, you know, they're rentals. So a lot of times the furniture they're selling with the house isn't the greatest. Maria, here's what she's referring to here is there's a pond hockey tournament down in Seeley Lake, or there was, but I've gotten news that may be a thing of the past, and I'm hoping that's not true. But on the pond hockey Facebook page, They said that it was done. I'm not sure why, what happened, but bad news there. So you're going to have to come up to the Flathead Valley to watch hockey. Then Ryan, where is the most land for sale in which area? Kind of all over. There's plenty of land around here for sale. There's plenty of land all over the state. It's just a matter of, what type of land, if you want to be way up in the mountains, if you want level.
How much land?
Yep.
Just
kind of depends what you're looking for. So again, thank you, everybody. We'll sign off now. We've hit all the questions. So we'll be back in 2 weeks for another one, unless that's Thanksgiving. I'm not sure, but oh no, it's only October. Sorry.
I was gonna say there it is. Thanksgiving's not in 2 weeks.
I don't know why I had that in my head, but yeah, we'll be back in a couple weeks. We're gonna do these every other week. We don't want to bore you every week. I don't know what we would talk about every week, but again, reach out. We'd love to hear from you. And thanks again, Sue, for your donation. That was awesome. We appreciate you and appreciate all you guys tuning in. And with that, we will see everybody in a couple weeks.
Bye.